Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon, episode by episode. I'm your host, Mika and Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and the Rabbit of the Moon makes rice cakes. Repeat, the Rabbit of the Moon makes rice cakes.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon prism power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network. So today we are talking about episode number 8, which is entitled Tensai Sojo wa Yoma Nano Kyofu no Senjuku in Japanese, or The Girl Genius is a Monster, the Brainwashing Cram School of Horror, which is the English translation, and the English title, Computer School Blues.
It's not even a computer school. It's not like...
Correct.
It's not National American University or One Day, One Night or something like that. That's literally not what it is.
You are correct. They couldn't even get that right.
Not hot for teacher. Or just like, once bitten, twice books.
Right?
Right. Not going to get hung up on it.
Cal, could you give us a brief breakdown?
I would
first
love
impression?
to. We begin with a little criticism of the Japanese educational system. We're back. It seems like every other episode here, we have at least one scene in the underworld or wherever we are. And we've got Queen Beryl talking to Jadeite. And they're not even like going, they're just like, so they go to like school and stuff. Yeah. They go to grade school. They go to like elementary school.
Yeah.
They go to like kindergarten. What do they do after that? I don't know.
I know!
These two non-humans just can't seem to figure out what the point of all this school is, but there's got to be some energy in there somewhere for them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, a weird sort of humanizing moment for those two.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to Earth, and Usagi is reading manga at home.
Yes.
And she is laughing a little too loudly at the manga, and her mom sees that she's watching manga, and she tries to get her mom to enjoy the manga as well. And of course, it's all a dodge because she's not studying.
Yes,
she's reading manga instead of studying, and
yes.
so that's not good. She gets not really yelled at, but we see that her mom is getting kind of fed up with the situation, and so she's supposed to go study. So she goes and studies, but it's really just more reading manga.
Yeah,
and this is where. I think the dam is finally breaking, because for weeks now I've been wondering when we're going to get more. When are we going to put the new wing on this world building here?
Yes.
It's a world building, get it?
Yeah, I
There's
get
a new
it.
wing on it. And
Yeah.
so we are getting just left and right. We're getting hints and we're getting suggestions of things, which might have been able to have been introduced sooner, but we're getting them now.
right.
And
right.
Luna is talking about finding the princess, which I feel like she has said once or maybe twice
Yes,
before.
it has been mentioned.
But now it's a big deal. We also learned that, and Luna's like, Usagi's got to study, but Luna's concerned because their fight goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that Luna doesn't know much about the enemy, because Usagi's kind of like, well,
Right.
so who are these people? And Luna's like, you actually don't really know.
I
Which is
know.
not a great
It's not
sort of
satisfying.
thing. No. That scene kind of wraps up after Luna yells at Usagi for reading manga. Luna reports to the arcade. It's late at night and everything's turned off. She goes to the Sailor V game and she is communicating through it. She calls somebody and she reports that, she's Agent 0091.
Yes.
Who is she reporting to? A voice answers her. And she informs her that she has been looking for the princess, but she hasn't found her. She also reports that Sailor Moon is not very reliable. To which the other side's like, well, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? And Luna says that she has been searching for strange energy patterns, and she's found one centered around a girl, a blue-haired girl, as it turns out.
Yes.
We cut to school the next day, and we find out that presumably said blue-haired girl is Mizuno Amy.
Yes.
And she is a genius. She's the first in the country, whatever that means, ranked students, I guess.
Yes.
Supposedly she has an IQ of 300. And the peanut gallery, Usagi, Umino, and some of the friends are all kind of complaining about that. And then Usagi gets a big idea that we should give her some help with my studying and my
Right.
tests. So we'll do that. Apparently, they say that Mizuno is rich and a snob, which can't be true because, I mean, why would it be true?
Yeah, I know. Right?
Isn't Usagi kind of rich and a snob? We do find
Maybe
there are,
she's like middle class.
there are degrees here, though. But we
Yeah.
find out that we've been talking about how affluent the Tsukino family is,
Yes.
but we've hit a new level now. Apparently, the Mizunos are very wealthy. So,
Mhm. Her mom's a doctor.
they say that her mom's a doctor specifically. So she she kind of follows her to somewhere. We don't know where she's going. And Luna has her doubts. So Luna like jumps on her. But immediately, she starts petting her, and Luna's like, "Oh, this is nice." No,
Exactly.
I'm an evil detector.
Yeah.
And Usagi sort of formally meets her, and they start talking about stuff. And she says that Luna descended on her, so she thought that Luna was an angel.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. It is an interesting way of putting it.
And they're kind of hitting it off, but of course Usagi's got her ulterior motive of trying to get help on these tests.
Yes.
And then they go to the arcade, and Usagi plays the Sailor V game and can't do really well. And she says, if you get 1,000 points, that's pretty good. And Mizuno sits down and just destroys it.
I know.
But as she's playing, she gets to like 20,000 points. But as she's playing, like this weird kind of melancholy music starts playing.
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
I think it's suggesting that she's not enjoying it, that she's not having fun, that she's naturally talented at it, but she's not having fun.
We get the
with
idea that there's a detachment in her character. And also, I can't even remember his name now. Who cares? But Game Guy is there.
Oh, yeah, I forget
Arcade
his
guy.
name now, too, because I'm terrible. I'm the worst.
Mizuno realizes that she has to go to Cram School, and that's where she was heading. And so she runs off to the Crystal Seminar Cram School. Don't see a problem there. But she has dropped her disc, her floppy disk.
Yes.
And so Usagi follows her to try to return the disc. She just kind of randomly, we just shove Smug Guy in there.
I know.
She runs into him and he's like, "No, you're not going to Cram School, are you?" And she's like, "Whatever, I don't have time for this." That's it. But also there's a little note that he says, is your cat talking? Did I hear a cat talking?
Yes.
And they're like, "Whoa, we got to get out of here."
Which I love that moment, honestly.
There's a lot of computer stuff in this one, actually, because they're not able to bring the disc back because they're fleeing Smug Guy.
Yeah.
And so Luna is a computer expert, as has been established.
Yeah.
And so they go to some computer lab, and Luna plugs the crystal disc in. And speaking of which, as this cat is using a computer, Usagi's like, "How do you do that?" And she's
I
like,
know.
"Everybody can use a computer these days." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So Luna realizes it's a brainwashing program. Bad news there.
Yeah.
Immediately, Usagi runs back to the Cram School to try to get in there, and she moon powers, turns into a nurse.
I know.
Not our most thrilling transformation, but we get another one in there.
She's like, "I heard there's been a medical
She runs
emergency.
in and she's like, "Yeah, medical emergency." And then immediately is confronted by the villain of the week, who... well, first of all, she sees that everybody in the Cram School is basically become a zombie now because they've had their energy drained, except for Mizuno. And the villain of the week makes themselves known. They turn into a huge sort of devil-looking thing. Usagi turns into Sailor Moon. Again, secret identity, it doesn't seem to be a real problem. So,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And kind of long, protracted fight goes on where they realize, because of a mark that appears on Mizuno's head,
Yes.
that she is a Sentai warrior.
Senshi.
Yeah. Just like Sailor Moon. So Luna does her flippy thing and creates a sort of makeup thing, I guess,
Like a pen,
which she gives to Mizuno. And Mizuno uses it, and she transforms into Sailor Mercury.
Yes.
And then she uses her shabon spray
I know.
power to confuse the bad guy, sort of freeze her in place and set her up for the takedown. Moon Tiara action, done.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much it. they're friends, and they're going to fight crime together, and we're going to just see where this takes us.
Yes. So what are your impressions from this episode?
I was right.
You were right?
It took me a long time to be right. Well, I mean, the dam had to break at some point, but
yes.
I just felt like we hit the last episode. We hit the
great.
very last episode where I was like, all right, come on, what's going to happen here? I know that there is more in this universe than what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And it begins today, baby.
That's right.
We end before we get any background. So I don't know. I know that now we are two. Now there are
yes.
two sailors, but the sailors don't know anything about their true nature.
Right.
Luna seems to only have as much information as she needs to help them. Mm-hmm. So whose power are we fighting for? Whose army are we in?
Right.
What is this all for? What is it in service of? We don't have the answer to any of these questions right now.
No.
So we're a lot of questions answered, leading to even more questions.
Right. So I mean, that I think will all come to pass.
Yeah. Don't. Nobody needs.
I'm not going to say
learn
anything.
to do this. Mm-hmm. Well, interesting. Right.
All right.
You'd be really bad at game mastering.
What?
Your players would be like, I wonder if this means. You'd be like, yes, he's the bad guy. He's the big bad.
Okay, so
this is our second session.
So don't play poker too, is what you're telling me.
No, do not play. Well, play with me, but yeah, don't play poker.
All right. Let's go on to our Kyoto Miru, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode.
I bet we're going to talk about Cram School.
Yeah, you are correct. These are specialty schools that help prep students for certain goals, mainly to pass entrance exams. They have entrance exams for middle school. The most popular ones that they study for are the entrance exams to high school, but they also have entrance exams for university and college as well. So cram schools for all of those exist. There are also cram schools that help students who are maybe behind or need like extra help in a certain subject, or what have you.
I would argue, not to interrupt you, I would argue that we've got all that here. It's just more institutionalized. But I don't know exactly how what the performance of Japanese students is compared to American ones. But you can get tutoring here if you need it. And you can also get extra work and extra programs and post-secondary, if you need it as well. But I feel like we're sadly comfortable with people falling through the cracks here if they can't perform. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's the social family side or if it's the institutional side, but it feels to me like they are a lot less comfortable with that. Like you said before, cram school isn't just to be the best you can be because you're going to be a doctor. It's also just getting you up to speed to where you should be. It's like hopefully keeping everybody at literally no child left behind, keeping everybody at least a basic level of competency.
Yeah.
Whereas here, if you've got a kid who's not doing well or is not participating and definitely has, problems at home or in his or her own life, we're just like, yeah, well, see you when you repeat this grade.
Right.
Or see you when you drop out.
I did experience a little bit of a different experience when I was over there in college. My Japanese language class was taught in Japanese, and I was not doing as well as I wanted to be doing. So I asked my teacher if maybe I could meet with them or get some extra work or whatever. And the response that I got was simply "Ganbate kudasai," which is please try harder. So I did not experience that. I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to study as much as I can.
Guess I'll fail.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do think that some kids do fall through the cracks because there is that mentality.
But is it because you were a foreigner, or is it because of just I
don't know if she just wasn't
the nature of your program, or was your teacher just a dick?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what the answer is.
All right. Well, forget everything I said.
No. But the English name obviously comes from the term cramming. And
do they? Is that what's their? Oh, they say can. Does that translate to a cram?
Well, I mean, the Japanese name is Juku, Juku for cram school, but
Right, but Juku is like Harajuku.
Well,
is that a school?
No,
Hair school.
Hair school. It's a mystery. So cram schools often exist to train students to retake their failed entrance exams.
It's a racket, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we have PSAT, SAT, ACT courses.
It's a racket.
So...
Some guy in a white wig came up with this, a powdered wig. They wear powdered wigs there, right?
I don't know, actually. But there is something that is a bit of a racket in this, and that it is that cram schools are for profit. So some people criticize them because they're not really for the benefit of the students. They're trying to cram as many students into each class as possible so it'll be more profitable.
Well, Mizuno never retook a test in her life.
I doubt
wasting her money on cram school.
Right. And they often are...
more on cram schools. Great.
Yeah, well, they take place after regular classes. So after regular school, they'll be on a school day in the evening. They also will be on the weekend and on holidays. So some people argue that it's not good for kids to not have that much free time.
But we're talking like 2 hours tops, right? They don't go and do it all day long.
It's not insubstantial. It does take a long time, a good portion of their day, and then they have to go and do homework and study some more. So Mizuno goes to cram school every day, every school day at the very least. Usagi, as far as we know, does not go to cram school, which is kind of surprising that like her mom wouldn't insist on her going if her grades aren't that great. But for some reason, not a big deal. But then when would she find the time to be Sailor Moon if she was going to cram school all the time?
A mom who is on the ball doesn't create a girl like Usagi. Number one. Number two, a little more cram school, and you might know the distinction between insubstantial and unsubstantial.
Okay, well, sorry.
Well, let's move on.
That's what I meant.
Welcome to Virtual Theater. I'm Andy Spiteri.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
The day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
If you're a gamer, a movie buff, or both, you're going to want to check out our podcast on video game movies and the stories that shape them.
Luigi, it's a mushroom. Come on.
Trust the fungus.
We let you decide which movies we cover via Twitter poll. So be sure to follow us on Twitter at Virtual Theater X.
Right, you can hear him talking.
Yeah. Pika, pika, pika.
They can't understand me, kid.
And give us 2 thumbs up by subscribing on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The fate of billions will depend upon you. Sorry.
We are a part of the Just Enough Trope Network.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. I thought we could
rice cakes?
Yes. Exactly. At the arcade, Luna talks about sticky rice cakes while giving the code phrases to the Sailor V machine.
Which, I mean, it could be anything. Why did they pick that?
I don't know, because they wanted to go along with the
Why didn't they say something
theme.
about dumpling? Or what do rice cakes have to do with the moon?
Well, supposedly they see rabbit in the moon instead of a man in the moon.
Right.
And there is a theory that they are making rice cakes or mochi in the moon.
Okay.
So that is why.
So that's a Japanese culture and a food thing.
Yes, exactly.
Which are arguably we got to do a segment somehow. Okay. But then that's just like, all right, never mind. It'd be like your code being like, the moon is made of green cheese.
Right.
It's
exactly.
Like, all right, you wouldn't say that in casual conversation, but that's not something so specific that it could never be said accidentally by somebody who happened to turn on this video game machine in the middle of the night and hit the right button conversation to talk to some weird remote party. But
yeah,
okay.
I know.
It just shows that they know that it mean if you got eight episodes in and you didn't know that they knew about the connection between the rabbit and the moon and rice cakes, they know.
Yes, exactly. So now you know.
So if I talk to, boy, who knows these days, kids, they don't think there's a man in the moon. If I talk to just somebody, that's like a general knowledge thing, right?
I think so, yeah.
So their rabbit thing is like our man in the moon. And just like our children, they hear that in storybooks and like early on. So that would be something that everybody knows.
Absolutely. You often see a motif in Japanese fabrics and goods where there's a rabbit and then there's a moon.
Okay.
So that is very common. And My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion. I thought we'd talk about a number that Usagi wears while she's studying. It's a pink turtleneck and green shorts. Not overwhelmingly like what was she thinking, but it's still kind of a weird combo.
But it's another just comfy sort of thing.
Yes, you're right. It is.
School's in.
Yes.
So this is, fall and it's colder. And so she's, just wearing a little sweater around the house.
Yes, exactly.
Reading manga. I mean, studying.
Yes. Right. And then I thought we could also, but maybe this isn't exactly fashion, because the bad guy's outfit, once she turns into the bad guy, it's like fur. It kind of looks like. It looks like a fur jumpsuit.
Yeah, they really went all out on the bad guy design. But
they did.
We'll save that.
Well, we can get into it right now with Villain Gauge.
Too early.
Where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The bad guy on this episode is named Garoben.
I want to mention, too, that this is the first time, I don't know if we're just getting a different translation or if they have decided to lay some more road here, but this is the first time that we are specifically hearing them classified as yoma. Or monsters, in Japanese. And so Luna this entire time is looking for the yoma.
Yes.
We're getting a little proactive here instead of waiting for, I don't know, some clown to hand out balloons that kill kids or something like that.
Right.
So the part of the conflict in the episode is like thinking that this weird girl is the yoma.
Yeah, that Mizuno is yoma.
They haven't tried another student yet, I don't think.
No.
So maybe they should try that. But watch out. But so we get that. Did you have anything that you could tell us about yoma or the idea of yoma?
I don't have anything specific this time, but I will make a note and have something for next time.
I mean, if you were going to go to like Wikipedia, for instance,
right,
you would know that it's one of several words for Japanese for monster.
Right.
And many anime series specifically have a monster of the week.
Sure.
Which is referred to as a yoma.
Sure. Okay. I mean, so that's a good...
There's one to grow on. It's also an architectural term for a room in the Western style. So whatever the Japanese version of Mike Brady thinks a Western room is, that's a yoma.
Really? I did not know that. So I learned something too.
And it's not to be confused with yomi.
Sure.
In Japanese, which is the underworld or the world of darkness in Shinto mythology.
Well, I mean, it seems to make sense that that's where yoma come from.
Well,
maybe not.
Get careful. Careful, because we already know that Japanese words can sound alike or look alike and not necessarily be
the same.
This
thing. Is true. Yeah, we don't know.
What does Garoben mean?
I don't know what Garoben means.
I couldn't come up with anything either.
I think it's just kind of a scary sounding name for a scary lady.
The first thing I do is turn the R into an L and see if that changes anything.
Oh, Garoben? I don't think so. Or maybe it kind of sounds like goblin. Maybe.
Yeah, it does. I think that's the answer.
Okay.
There. See, easy.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Thank you, English.
Yeah, she poses as the Cram school teacher, and then she turns into a red-looking devil-like yoma. And
I gotta say, she's got the look.
Right?
She looks good.
Yeah.
Before we only get a quick look at her before she becomes the devilish monster, but she's got a hot teacher kind of look
like
in
a
her human
lime green
form.
suit. Yeah.
It's like a yellowish, but she's got like, the red sort of bob, and she's got the kind of horn-rimmed glasses type thing,
Yes.
when she's pulling it off. Looks great. And she's the Yoma of knowledge. I don't know how that works. Now she's got a classification. When she turns into a devil, she looks like a devil. She's like red-skinned. Yes. She's got hair that is kind of like horns. It doesn't really have horns, though. And she quizzes her victims.
Yes.
So you have to get the answers right, or you die.
Which is, I think, hilarious. Like, she asked Sailor Moon a question, and then, like, she just, like, throws tests or papers at her that are like weapons and they're like razor sharp.
So she's got like carry level telekinesis.
Yeah.
And then basically the whole time she's sucking everybody's like energy knowledge. Again, the cosmology of this is very flimsy, but whatever. And she wants to take Mizuno's knowledge, but she can't. Have we seen Usagi have her energy drained? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
are the Sailor Senshi immune to energy drain?
They are not. The episode that we talked about recently, where they get the pets from the pet shop perfume,
the Chanellas.
Yeah, the Chanellas. She picks up a Chanella and she's entranced with it, and it isn't until Luna
that's
takes
just the glowing
Chanella,
eyes, though. She doesn't like get the hollowed out cheeks, and there.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen it yet.
Okay.
So
well, we know that Mizuno, for whatever reason, is not affected by this.
She decided not to use the disc.
Right.
Which is why.
But that's the primer then?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's get into the rest of my evaluation of this thing then.
Sure.
Okay. So that's dumb. Apparently you have to get, and maybe this is like too early in the computer world to know. I would have said a virus. We're going to give these humans a virus, a computer virus. But yeah, so that doesn't work. So she's like, I'll just take your brain. And then she can transform her arm into an axe.
I know.
Which is pretty badass.
Yes.
Here's what's not badass. She goes down to soap.
I know.
Shabon spray. Shabon means soap
in
Japanese, which I found out was a loan word from the Portuguese sabão.
Wow. Okay.
Now, I know Japanese people took baths before they traded with the Portuguese, right? But for whatever reason, they must have really liked that Portuguese word.
Yes.
Like, I like that one.
Right.
So, yeah. So, it goes down to soap. Doesn't even get it in her eyes or anything like that. She's just like, oh, no, soap. Not great.
I think it's supposed to blind her or make a fog. Like a lot of Mizuno's powers are kind of supposed to impair vision or make the villain slow down somehow.
Sure.
Or impair them some way.
Yeah. Also, a bit of a potty mouth, this one, on this kid's show. She has an exclamation, which is translated in the subtitles as "damn it," but is probably more like a Japanese type thing. So little soap for the potty mouth.
Yeah, there you go.
I like the quizzes. I like the idea of that. I don't think that what you do is you have her ask Mizuno a question, but Mizuno is a genius, and so she
knows the answer.
Throws it back at her and she explodes or something. But that doesn't happen. But otherwise, I big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
What?
The one thing is that another horrible plan. They specifically call out that this is an expensive cram school.
Yes.
Well, you only want to drain the energy of like qualified people. It should be a free cram school. You heard about this new crystal cram school? It's like you don't have to even pay anything.
Right.
And everybody goes. Everybody gets a disc. But no, they're just only the 12 rich kids that can afford to go here.
Fair enough.
Terrible plan.
Yeah.
Four dark stars.
Okay.
Still strong.
I'm going to give her 4.5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm going to put her up against Bat Lady.
Yeah. Gosh.
Not bad.
I can't. Bat Lady, was it Kyurine, I think?
Sure.
I should keep a list of all the bad guys.
No. Our fans are doing that. Let us know.
All right.
Why 4.5?
Huh?
Why 4.5?
I'd give her a 5, but I just want to leave room to grow. And I just thought she was really badass. Like, she's pretty bad, so I like her.
Rewind. When she turns into a nurse, do we need to talk about her outfit?
Oh, yes.
But I mean,
right.
there's nothing to talk about.
It's like a white lab coat and then like a nice
slacks
dress outfit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And her hair
special.
is like straightened. Yeah.
She has a shoulder length sort of cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how her hair is always different with the disguises.
Yeah, I think that's part of the attraction. It's clear that neither the writers nor Usagi thought about it a lot because it didn't end up being
a medical
it isn't like
emergency?
I'm going to infiltrate this as a reporter or like I'm going to become one of the misfits and then talk to this jazz musician. I'm having fun. I'm an adult. This is literally just expediency. Like somebody will believe if I run in and say that I'm a nurse or a doctor. So I'll be the plainest. I didn't give it any thought at all. I don't have a cute paper hat or the kind of thing that like the little touches that Usagi would have put on. It was just like boom, boom, get it done.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought we could talk a little bit before we move on about Amy Mizuno or Sailor Mercury.
I think we have to talk about Sailor Mercury.
So we are introduced to Sailor Mercury in this episode. And I think, as you were saying before during your sum up, is like it's a welcome addition, you know, to the show. And
but what do we really know about Sailor Mercury?
Not a whole lot yet. But what do you think of her overall, at least in this first episode?
I think if you wanted to find someone to complement Usagi, it would be someone with intelligence and refinement. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Meow, meow. That's what I would do. And so we've got that. I found myself feeling a little weird.
Yeah?
I was excited to meet a new sailor, but I was also like, who's this bitch? Get out of here. You know, it's like, don't Poochie this thing up.
Wow.
We already got a sailor. It's our Sailor Moon.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I know, like, well, you think it's Poochie now. Wait for the future. But yeah, it was exciting, but it was also a little bit like, oh no, I don't want to follow some dumb blue-haired girl. Like, I want to follow Usagi. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it'll remain to be seen how she affects the stories and how she employs her sailor abilities and sort of learns them. If she's Mercury, the moon thing, we get that it's like rabbits and I don't know, maybe one of these days we should talk about the sort of astrological and mythological implications of the moon.
Yeah, we probably should.
Already. But I know that, like, okay, so Sailor Mercury. Mercury is fast. Mercury is usually magic. Like in magic traditions, like the Hermetic tradition, you know, like Mercury is like a sign of magic and wisdom and stuff like that.
Sure, yep.
Commerce? The Caduceus? Yeah, so I'm just trying to think of what I know and if they will employ Mercury to that effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm excited that she has another Sailor Scout, so she's not doing it all on her own. She's got a little support. And maybe it's a little less scary to go up against the bad guys now. I do like just rewatching this. It's kind of ridiculous, like how quickly Ami is like, she like accepts that Luna can talk, and Luna's like, here, take this pen, now say this, and she just does it. And then, like, after she does the shabon spray, she's like, Sailor Moon now. Like, how does she know to, like, cue Sailor Moon to do her tiara thing, you know?
Yep.
But, so there's just a lot of stuff that she just accepts, like, right out of the gate.
Yeah, but I love the idea that there is, it's like, I've said this before, I think, on this show, but, like, it's the idea of, like, Marvel Comics Thor, that you are a person, but you are imbued with the spirit of another hero, and you aren't necessarily talking in each other's heads, but, you know, the human becomes the god
elevated
incarnate as well, and so has access to other knowledge and other skills, but still might retain their original thing. We see that, you know, there are times when Usagi as Sailor Moon does things and isn't quite sure how she did them or how she knew how to do them, but she's generally just 14 and a bit of a crybaby. That's about
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be different to see how this other person seems to deal with it, and seems to be doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, exactly.
I also wonder,
Taking it in stride.
Luna knew to find Usagi. She looked for her for some reason.
Yes.
Presumably because of a similar thing where she was able to detect some mark or some energy. She was chosen somehow, but it's weird that she didn't know that about
Mercury.
Mercury.
Yeah.
And that does Mercury have a Luna? Is there some other cat that was supposed to activate Mercury, but Luna had to do it instead? You have to realize what an open-ended question is.
Yeah, that is an open-ended question.
This is the Noob.
Yeah.
You don't just turn me to sailorwikia.com and go, there you go, kid.
I know. I mean, that is a really great question.
Thank you.
And I don't know, like, Luna always seems to be one step ahead of Usagi, so why isn't she a step ahead here?
That's not difficult.
I guess that's not hard.
I'd like to wrap this episode up by, I'm pretty sure this wasn't just in the translation, by seeing that, no matter how far apart we are, we're all the same. And in Japan, they also have that thing where you are strangling a cat if you're singing really bad. Who's strangling a cat in here? Like her brother literally comes in and goes, "Leave the cat alone." Like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, sorry. Singing's terrible. So yeah, 4 for me, 4.5 for you.
Yes, for the bad guy. And for the episode rating, 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the best, I guess, and a English title.
I'm going 3.
3?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There's only 5.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a 1.
No.
It's not a 2.
Okay.
But it's not a 4 or a 5.
Oh.
So it's a 3.
All right. I'm actually going to give it a 4. I think because I'm excited to have Mercury be added here. And my English title is Mercury is so bright I have to wear shades. That's
a Viz Media or title or whatever. That isn't English. Great. Now mine's got to really nail it. Look out, Usagi. Blue hair is coming for your place.
I like it. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 9, Usagi no Sainen, Awate Toke ni Goyojin, in Japanese, which translates to Usagi's disaster. Beware of the clock of confusion. The English title is Time Bomb.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Blues, Time Bomb Blues.
No blues this time, just
right.
Time Bomb. Well, that's it for our show this week. In the name of the moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Remember, kids, recycle to the extreme!